So let me introduce the conference, especially as I say, for those of you that are not basically new, that are basically new to these events. So basically, let me do a brief introduction. As we know, the emergence of P2P and decentralized finance has raised new doubts and questions on the opportunities and risk of the current digital transformation of financial markets. So despite the implementation of a series of reforms, including the introduction of regulatory sandboxes, new rules that bring clarity to digital assets, including even the recent proposal under discussion currently for the regulation of markets in crypto assets, MiCA at the European level, two major questions still remain. The first is whether basically the current digital financial disintermediation is fit for the future. And the second question I think that remains is whether the current global regulatory response is adequate to support the ongoing hyper-innovation and open competition, preserving at the same time stability and the smooth functioning of the markets. So these two major questions remain unanswered. So the perspective chosen by this workshop to face such controversial themes are probably to be considered as the keystone to evaluate not simply the advantages and disadvantages, but also present and future challenges that these new technologies are placing. Therefore, the idea of this conference, and this year is the 6th edition of this conference, is to bring academics, practitioners, together with central bankers and other regulators interested in addressing questions of practical importance, especially on digital currencies, P2P lending and crowdfunding, digital money transfer, mobile payments, mobile banking, P2P payments, and new topics like distributed systems and smart legal contracts. Well, I still remember how innovative were these topics that were also covered during the first edition in 2015, hosted by the Deutsche Bundesbank. However, since 2015, many new innovations happened in this field that at that time we were not even able to imagine. So, for example, we were not even able to imagine the Cambrian explosion of new startup funding models that in the last 6 years help small projects to raise billions of US dollars during these years. We were not able to imagine the emergence of several different stablecoins projects that counts about 20 billions at this time. See also the new proposal of Libra project and the many critiques. Some say that this Libra project sounded like a warning alert for central banks. So central banks then became more interested to these topics. Some more pessimistic. A recent interview by of Christine Lagarde said that stable coins could indeed threaten the financial security if widely adopted. Using stable coins as a store of value could trigger a large shift of bank deposit to stable coins, which may have impacts on bank operations and the transmission of monetary policy. This is certainly true. At the same time, there are also central banks that take a more optimistic side or perspective on the emergence of stablecoin. For example, a recent interview of Andy Haldane from the Bank of England say that the stable coins and central bank issued digital currency could indeed improve banking sector stability by creating a new class of narrow payment banks, by separating banks that only offer payments backed by safe assets from those that offer credit services. So this is the current ongoing debate, and also dozens of new projects around CBDC, central bank digital currencies, are now under development. One of the first entering this new area is the People's Bank of China, which plan to roll out its digital currency at the Winter Olympics in 2022. So, and to conclude, another new innovation that happened during the last 5 years since the first edition of this conference is the emergence of decentralized exchanges, or what some people call the automated market makers, for example, Uniswap. We are talking still about a small market with small volumes of the order of 10 billions per month, but growing. Blockchain analytics show that volume on the centralized crypto exchange has surged in the last year, and since January is up over 1,500% since January 2020. So these are all new innovations that have been engineered and developed during the last 5-6 years. So the P2P has been designed in order to exactly promote an open dialogue around these topics, and has been designed to be an itinerant conference, primarily hosted by central banks around the world. So far, this conference has been hosted, supported or sponsored by major central banks, including the Bank of England, the Bank of Canada, the Deutsche Bundesbank, the Federal Reserve of Cleveland, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, the European Central Bank, and the Netherlands Bank. So thanks to this central bank that supported this vision of bringing together scholars, central bankers, and practitioners. Past speakers have been the likes of Professor Marvin Zonis, former Professor Emeritus of the University of Chicago, Jeffrey Batman, former US Commodity and Future Trading Commission, John Schindler, the Federal Reserve Board, my friend Ben Craig from the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, Michael Liftik, former US Security Exchange Commission, Chief of Staff, Antoine Martin from the Fed New York, Catherine Atzenmacher, Head of Monetary Policy Strategy at the European Central Bank, just to cite a few. So we have also linked the conference to book launch. The first book that I co-edited with my previous friends and organizer of the first edition of this conference was the book titled Banking Beyond Banks and Money, published by Springer, and I was co-edited with Professor Tommaso Aste, with Loriana Pellizzone and Nicolas Peroni. And now we have a new book that is planned to be launched next year. The title is Digital Assets, Pricing, Allocation and Regulation, in collaboration with Rina Agarwal from Georgetown University. So this year, unfortunately, we face an unexpected challenges for all of us, and we need to adapt to this new normal with this COVID-19 emergency. So we decided to bring this conference online for the first time, and we plan to focus on major 3 areas. So the first is regulation and governance. The second is about the global pandemics and new opportunities for financial technologies. And the third is about decentralized finance. I have to say that despite these unfortunate circumstances, we find ourselves, this year edition sees a great quality of speakers and attendees. Across these 3 days, we expect about 400 attendees and 20 speakers, selected speakers from 10 different countries. This year event is split in 3 days that we run from 11:30 to 14 UK time, from today, starting today until the 3rd of December. So this year edition will focus both on research topics relevant to the scientific community and evidence coming from industry and policymaking case studies. The workshop will also feature panel discussion for participants from academia, industry, and financial regulatory bodies to share their view on these major threats and opportunities I mentioned earlier. In particular, let me point you to the today panel discussion that will take place at 13 UK time. The panel discussion is titled Central Bank Digital Currency and the Future of Digital Money. The speakers of this panel will be Michael Kumhoff, Senior Research Advisor of the Bank of England, Kevin Werbach, American academic and businessman and professor of legal studies and business ethics at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, and Sonia Davidovich, Office of the Managing Director and Digital Expert in the IT Department of International Monetary Funds. And the moderator will be my friend, Tom Wilson from Reuters. So before to give the floor to the first speakers of this year edition, let me thank the 9 speakers who will present their original contribution during these 3 days. These speakers have been undergone a blind review process and been selected from more than 40 submitted papers. The quality of this year's papers is excellent and covers cutting-edge topics. So let me thank the members of the scientific committee who helped reviewing this paper. Alexander Lipton from MIT Media Lab, Ben Craig from the Bank of Cleveland, Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, Chris Clark from University College London and associates at UCL CBT, David Remark, professor at New York Stern, Joanna Massarotto from UCL CBT, Jawak Su from UCL CBT, Marta Pierkasca from the Linux Foundation, Nicolas Courtois, Senior Lecturer, University College London and CBT Associates, Roble Ali from MIT Media Lab, Silvia Bartolucci, University College London and CBT Associates, Tommaso Aste, Professor of Complexity Science, University College London and co-director of the UCL CBT, Victoria Lemieux, Associate Professor of the University of British Columbia, Vilko Bolt, Senior Economist in the Research Division of the Netherlands Bank, and Wojtek Tsai, Professor of Beihang University. Let me also thank Francesco Pierangeli and Jawak Su, both from University College London, who helped me organizing this edition. And let me thank the CBT, who is the home of this event, the University College London Center for Blockchain Technologies, which is one of the world's largest center in the world, which basically was funded in 2015 with the support of my colleague Tommaso Astet at the University College London. We count now about 250 research industry associates, and we do conduct research in distributed systems and decentralized finance. For you to have more, to know more about the activity of the UCL CBT, the new book launch proposal, and all the other seminars and initiatives, the new masters that we start next year in financial technologies and in emerging digital technologies, I will kindly address you to the UCL CBT website that you can find online.